Former Chief of Staff, the Barbados Defense Force, Colonel Glenn Granham, Director of Training at the Regional Security System, Lieutenant Commander Brian Roberts, Director of Operations and Plans, Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Ford, Assistant Chief of Police of the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force, Mr. Alain Maxime, Commanding Officer Barbados Regiment, Commander Derek Brathwaite, Commanding Officer Barbados Coast Guard, Commander Derek Brathwaite, Cadet Executive Officer Major Pedro Drakes, Captain Reverend Harper Johnson, Senior Officers, Course Officer, Commando Course 1/2026, Recruit Eiffel, Officers, Fleet Master Chief Acting Answar Streets, Training Officer Commando Course 1 Officer Class 1, Wayne Griffith, 1 Officers, Senior NCOs, Junior NCOs, Candidates of the Commando Course 1/2026, Commando Brothers, friends and family, media, good afternoon. I am Lance Corporal Justin Edwards, and it's a privilege to serve as a Master of Ceremonies for the closing ceremony of the Commando Course 1 of 2026. Today, we gather to recognize discipline, endurance, and determination of the candidates who have successfully completed this demanding course. To begin the formal proceedings, I invite you to stand as I invite the Reverend Captain Rosalind Harper Johnson to lead us in the invocation.
Let us pray. Almighty God, we gather today to honor and the service and sacrifice of these men who have succeeded their course. We ask your blessings upon this ceremony and on those who serve. Grant our leaders wisdom, our other service members strength and protection, and our families peace. Guide us in our commitment to duty and to our variant countries. We thank you for the privilege of serving and for the peace we work to maintain it. Be with us in all that we do this evening, and may your name be honored and glorified. Our prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Captain Rosalind Harper Johnson. Please be seated. To formally welcome you, I invite the course officer, Lieutenant Eiffel, to deliver the welcome remarks.
Former Chief of Staff, the Barbados Defense Force, Colonel Glenn Granham, Director of Training at the Regional Security Systems, Lieutenant Commander Brian Roberts, Director of Operations and Planning, Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Ford, Assistant Chief of Police, Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force, Mr. Alain Maximum, Commanding Officer Barbados Coast Guard, Commander Derek Brathwaite, Cadet Executive Officer Major Pedro Drakes, Senior Officers, Captain Reverend Harper Johnson, Fleet Master Chief Acting Streets, Training Officer Commando Course, WPR Griffith, Warrant Officers, Senior and Non-Junior Officers, Directing Staff of the Commando Course, Candidates of the Commando Course, friends and family, media. Good afternoon. And welcome. It is an honor to have you here as we mark the successful completion of the Commando Course 1 of 2026. Your presence today is significant. It reflects the support system behind every candidate who stood the course, and it reinforces the value we place on excellence, service, and commitment. Today is not simply a ceremony, it is the combination of grit, sacrifice, and relentless determination. To the candidates, you arrive at the start of this course as individuals. Over the past 7 weeks, you have been tested in every domain, physically, mentally, and emotionally. You have endured long days, demanding nights, and conditions designed to expose weakness and build strength. Many were pushed to their limits, but those standing here today refuse to quit. You earn the right to be recognized. The Commando standard is not given, it is demanded, enforced, and proven. What you wear now represents more than completion. It represents resilience, discipline, and the ability to operate when others cannot. To directing staff and instructors, your professionalism and uncompromising standards have shaped these candidates into a stronger, more capable body. Your role has been crucial to ensuring this course remains credible, relevant, and respected. To the families and supporters, your encouragement, often from a distance, has played a vital role in this achievement. No soldier succeeds alone. As we close this chapter, let me remind the candidates that this is not the finish line, yet the start of a new race. This is the beginning of a greater experience, of a greater expectation. You are now held to a higher standard. Lead with confidence, act with integrity, and never fall below what you have proven yourself capable of achieving. Wear your badge with pride, but more importantly, live up to it every day. On behalf of the commanding officer and the course commandant, Lieutenant Colonel Johnny Dario, I extend a warm welcome to you here for this closing ceremony, and congratulations to you who have completed the course.
Next, we'll have training officer, warrant officer class 1, Wayne Griffith, to deliver the course overview.
Good afternoon. Former Chief of Staff of the Barbados Defense Force, Colonel Glenn Grennan. Director of Training at the Regional Security System, Lieutenant Commander Brian Roberts. Colonel Jeffrey Ford, Director of Operations and Plan at the Regional Security Systems. Assistant Chief of Police with Commonwealth of Dominican Police Force, Mr. Alan Maxmeyer. Commanding Officer of the Barbados Coast Guard, Commander Derek Brathwaite. Cadet Executive Officer, Major Pedro Yates. Reverend Captain Harper Johnson, Padre. Senior Officers, SO Coy Representative, Second Lieutenant Branko White. Course Officer, Commander Course 1 2026, Lieutenant Rico Eiffel. Officers, Regimental Sergeant Major, Warrant Officer Class 1, Shelly Ann Pollard. Fleet Master Chief Petty Officer, Master Chief 2, Answar Street. Warrant Officers, Senior Non-Commissioned Officers, Junior Non-Commissioned Officers, candidates of the Commando course, brothers, families, friends, media. My job today is to deliver the course report. Just to put through your minds the harshness and the pain, the dedication and the determination that was exhibited by the students, or that was exhibited upon the students as well. Commando course commenced on the 8th of March last month at Paragon Base. It was a shock for some, If anybody here know a parking base, you can imagine that barrack square, and you got people on the barrack square standing up at 2, 3 o'clock, and you put your palm on that barrack square, you know how it feels. And you gotta get down there and say, welcome to this training base, welcome to parking base. It's a shocker. Some people were shocked. And that was the intent. Shock you, put you in a state of mind, you're here to train. And we achieved that. Now, the primary function of the Commando course is to produce a soldier who has mental resilience, physical stamina, technical knowledge to conduct arduous small party tasks, while at the same time assuming his ability to operate under extreme conditions with limited resources. So our aim was to build that commando by using the commando qualities: courage, confidence, cheerful in adversity, determination, discipline, physical fitness, and team spirit. In the first 2 weeks, we started off by training the students in weapon handling tests, fieldcraft, first aid, minor tactics, to see the state or the stage that they were at. We also did some navigation, small route marches, small tasks to see or to gauge their physical fitness, and without any injuries anybody may have been hiding. We started with 59 students, and during the first 2 weeks, we were at 42. We dropped 17 students. It was difficult. It was a shocker. We then move on to phase 2. Phase 2, we dropped the dead weight. We move on. We did map reading, marksmanship, fieldcraft, maintenance of personal equipment, tactics, orders, signals, and navigation. Also, we were doing this all by foot. We started in the area of Morgan Lewis. We worked our way from Morgan Lewis, Cherry Tree Hill, St. Nicholas Abbey, all to Farley Hill, down to Allendale, and worked our way right back up again to Wendy Hill, East Coast Road, all the way up to Joes River. In that first week, I think we did second phase, we did at least 57 miles in the next 2 weeks, which is week 3 and week 4. We also had a component of amphibious training, which we did beach landings at the Barbados Coast Guard. We also did river crossing, and we also did amphibious assaults on the beach. By that time, we were down to 33 people at week 4. 33 people. Now, the course was getting a bit more difficult. We started at level 3, we went to level 4, we went to level 5, and to pass or to move on to the other phase of the course, you had to pass 1 or 2 of the particular tests which we set out. Those tests were either a 4-miler to carry on to week 2, a 6-miler, carry on to week 4. And we went on and on. You had to pass the endurance course and the obstacles course. So by the time you get to text week, you'll be well within your right or within your scope to pass these tests. Third phase came along. We did command attributed techniques, section battle drills, survival training, escape plan, map reading again. We did amphibious assaults and tactical exercises. Every week was a tactical exercise. Every week was camping outdoors, sleeping outdoors. The students were not allowed to use a bed or a mattress, non-sponge, nothing so. It was outdoors. You pitch a tent and a hoochie on the pasture, down by the cadet camp, some grass area. That was it. That prepared the students for the Dominica phase. The Dominica phase, we had to culminate all the exercises that we were taught during the first 4 weeks, especially learning to live and operate and survive in a jungle environment. Yes, we had minor hunting. We didn't find much food because the animals were scared of the commandos. Yes, and we were told not to eat the iguanas, which we really did want to, but it's an endangered species, so we can't eat it. So we left them, let them replenish themselves, but I guess next time we get back there, we could eat them. The population would have grown, and we have some good hunters and that crowd there, so we will probably eat them by next year. So after we returned from Dominica, we went into Tech Suite. So let's back a bit. In Dominica, we had the 12-mile load carry. That was the first Commando test, the 12-mile load carry, which you have 80 pounds, 4 hours, 12 miles. It's a team effort. One man failed, the whole group fails, and the guys pass it in flying colors. And that was the first test out the way. So everybody went forward to Tech Suite. The next Commando test we had was the endurance scores test. We had 2 failures. So, we ran the test the Monday morning, and the Monday evening is the retest. One person would have flunked out entirely, and he was RT from the course, and the other 20 people continue on the course. Went on to the obstacle course. Everybody destroyed the obstacle course, flying colors, which was good. That showed the fitness of the course and the determination that they displayed, which was good. Up comes the 9 miler. That's the heartbreak for everybody. It's a terrible 9 miles. From Foster Hall, past through Tickets, Tree Houses, St. Catherine, then up to Bailey's Primary School. It's a difficult one. 22 pounds, weapon in your hand, and we just trotting. The 9 miler don't wait for you. You have to catch it. Have to. Luckily, 2 men flunked the 9 miler. 2 men. Retest came 4 days after. The men went back and destroyed it. Passed the 9 miler. That was good. After the 9, about 36 to 48 hours after, we had the 30-mile speed march. 30 miles starts at St. Anne's Fort, make our way all the way down Bush Hill, cross Kelowna Road, Station Hill, Jackson's, Prout, Lower Parks, East Coast Road, Foster Hall, Bath Hill, Tickets, Rice's, Headings, St. Martin, finish in St. Martin, Pennyhole area. 30 miles, 22 pounds. 3 failures. 3 failures. It was devastating. The guys never saw nothing like that yet. But we had some retests to do. Retests had to be done. One man opted out. No more for him. One man was taken out. And it left one student to do the 30 mile all by himself. One student. That tested the true resilience of a commando. He did it with flying colors. He passed with flying colors, and he did it in the least time, 7 hours and 2 minutes. Give him a round of applause. So when all the dust was settled, out of 57 students on the course, 65 or 68 on paper, we ended up with 18 badges. And those 18 students are sitting there today. Please give them a round of applause. In general, the Commando course went well. The training environment remains the most important and challenging environment outside operations. No effort should therefore be spared in facilitating opportunities for training to upgrade the skills of the members of the forces. Thank you.
Our featured speaker is no stranger to the Barbados Defense Force, Pargan, or even the Commando course. He would have spent 36 years in the Barbados Defense Force and still carry the Barbados Defense Force to his heart, begging me to come and speak today, by the way. He joined his service in the Barbados Defense Force. He joined in 1985 as a recruit and trained at Pargan Base most of his career. He completed his service in the Barbados Defense Force as the Chief of Staff in 2021. He now continues to serve Barbados in the Ministry of Home Affairs and Information as a Policy and Logistics Specialist. Our speaker completed the Commando course in intake 4 of 86. That is 1986. Clearly, there would be too many career highlights to mention during this ceremony, but suffice to say, he owes a debt of gratitude of his character and professionalism to the knowledge and skills he acquired in the Commando course. Please help me welcome the former Chief of Staff of the Barbados Defense Force, Colonel Glenn Grantham. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. Thank you. I first of all want to acknowledge the presence of the Assistant Commissioner from the Commonwealth of Dominica, directors from the Regional Security System, directors of training and of operations and plans, the commanding officers from the Defense Force, their senior enlisted warrant officers as well, the representatives from here at Pargan Base, the regimental headquarters, the Padre, who, notwithstanding her quiet demeanor, served in the Barbados Regiment. I suspect if the military people, the military headquarters, BDF headquarters, still wants that, they can pull her number and, get her out of the Padre role back into some other status. Want to acknowledge all of them as per the order of protocol. And Major Boyce, who, like me and Colonel Ford, share an 85 number. You're 85 or 84?
852095.
Yeah. And I want to start this afternoon to congratulate the 18 commandos for achieving the badge, passing the course. And in that congratulation, I think there was a particular wisdom. I didn't beg him, he asked me. There was a particular wisdom in Lieutenant Eiffel's mind when he absolutely pursued myself with Colonel Ford and Commander Roberts in tow to come here this afternoon to talk to you, right? To address you, to congratulate you, and most importantly, to inspire you as to the way forward. Now, that wisdom that was descended upon Eiffel, I think, comes from the fact that not only do we represent a project of some 41 odd years ago, but we represent here this afternoon a continuity, a passing of the baton from us through your hardworking staff. I'm going to single out one Officer Class 1, WPR Griffith, who I had, Jeffrey and Brian had the privilege of serving with here at Pargan Base and Commando Squadron. That continuity, that passing of the baton is very, very important. So today, the 18 of you from across 6 countries, if you could just stand for a minute, Belize, Guyana are all on this side. And we got some more recent as well. The folks on this side who I see wearing the badge, y'all did the course when last year or year before? Last year. Or you can sit down. I think that is very, very, very important to recognize in this ceremony today. 41 years ago, the wisdom of the Chief of Staff at the time, recognizing how events were unfolding, assessed, recognized, reconnoitered that there was a need for something like what you've just completed. 41-ish years ago. The Chief of Staff at the time was not me, Brigadier Sir Rudyard Lewis, who is happily into retirement right now, and maybe you should have brought him out to do a special address or something to the course. But that was for 85-ish, while I and Jeffrey were up here recruiting on this same Bark Square that Mr. Griffith described as being so hot it would burn your palms. You could fry your egg on it, right? And in them days, it was the media here, right? So I don't know how far this broadcasting. So here we go. This is a privileged platform, is it? Is it? There's a closed, or I ain't got nothing YouTube nor TikTok land or nothing. Oh, yeah? All right, well, I got to rewrite that. Let me see. It's real hot. But in those days, I think I could say this without infringing. In those days, you could do push-ups on your knuckles. Anybody here ever did push-ups on the knuckles? Excluding Griffith. He's kept well, but he is of fairly senior vintage like myself and Jeffrey and Brian. So I'm saying that to make the point that you are several generations down, but held to the same high standards, the same Commando principles, the same objectives, the same discipline, the same courage, the same teamwork, the same leadership. And in fact, all of us, 40, 30, 20, 10 last year, now are all on the same team. And what is also significant about this course is that it represents a maturing from how it started 40 odd years ago. The first iteration was in January. A lot of the planning and the foundation work went down in 1985, like I said, while we were recruiting. And I want to acknowledge, in their absence, Major Gary Newt, who Brian would probably know better than I, and Warrant Officer Sid Wright, who were two of the architects of the course you've just graduated from. They were members of the United Kingdom Royal Marines, and they came out with a mold from which the program was cast, solidified, right down to where you are today. Continue with some tweaks, with some improvement, with some adaptation. So when I tell you I feel a particular connection, Jeffrey and Brian, I know I speak for, and you've heard it for the last umpteen weeks from the likes of Mr. Griffith. I suppose, where is Master Chief Streets? He had a hand, you had to go at them as well, or you just appear like me for the graduation? Right. That legacy is very, very important, and I want you never to take that for granted. And in fact, the notes that Lieutenant I feel used as part of the sweetener to get me here today, he mentioned in his words that legacy and about what it means to receive the badge. He coined it as 7 crossroads. 7 miles, 7 points along a journey. And I know that the 18 of you and the others have very vivid memories of 30 of the best miles of your life. Not driven, but done with these two blessed fellows below your waist. 30 of the best miles of your life. So when I talk to you about a journey with points along the way, I know you have a particular understanding in a very real, in a very animated way. All right? What that means. So the qualification bestowed upon you equips you through painful physical, mental, and skills baptism. It equips you to be an operator. An operator today in an environment which is similar but some distinct differences to how it was back in my time and all the intervals in between. But there are lessons that are transferable across that horizon, 40-ish years, and the 7 points that I'll mention in these remarks. And the first of those is that you are now familiar with operating under conditions of fatigue, uncertainty, and adversity. You now know, if you didn't before, heat, wet, damp, hungry, tired, confusion. Yeah? In a way that when your fellow police officers, sailors, or soldiers, when you go back in and amongst them, and they begin to wimp out, is still a phrase in the language? Yeah? If I say wimp out, everybody will know what I mean? Yeah? We used to talk about wimp out back then. When you go back amongst them now to serve, to continue your service, that is a particular fortitude, a particular strength, a particular value, a particular asset that you can bring to the team. Not just in terms of how you communicate with them, but by the example, which I suppose is part of communication, the example you set. That would either strengthen them, give them something to achieve, to aim for, or if it's needed to be held up in a way to correct a shortcoming in them, could be equally effective. And the second point along the crossroad, the second rendezvous point, checkpoint along the highway, is the commando's basic attitude and the oath that you are probably very, very familiar with. Whether or not you can remember it precisely as articulated by the course officer or not, those words of determination, and the big one, discipline, physical fitness, and of course, team spirit, they have a particular resonance with you that is going to be needed in the operating environment you will find yourself back in. I want to just pause a little bit on this thing called discipline. I've seen a lot of good soldiers, skilled, shoot, fit, navigate, first aid, communicate, fail to reach maximum potential because of an absence of discipline. Equally so, I've seen some people who then in the fittest might be struggling with certain of the hands-on skills, like they came through, like Chappie who did 230 milers. Where is he? At Belgian police. Well done. I've seen people who weren't quite there come through because of that discipline, because of a determination not to lose, not to be left behind. And there's a component of discipline which sometimes we don't necessarily pay a lot of attention to, which is not my discipline to keep going and to keep focused and to keep trying, but it is to he, and I suppose I should say, or she, who has the discipline to use that well-worn cliche, that well-worn saying, leave, come with me, no. Exactly. And we know we are servants of a country who will be called upon to do difficult things at inconvenient times, in unsociable hours, and in very, very challenging circumstances. But that's what we signed on for, knowing those risks. And that those risks may come with injury, potentially the unimaginable. And there has to be that discipline to, firstly, achieve the mission, and secondly, to keep the team together and to keep people with you, to carry your buddies if necessary. Third along the way is, what do you do with the qualification? Some of you is going to brag. Some of you is going to take a greater confidence in your personal abilities. Some of you, well, I hope all of you will be proud of what you've achieved. You get the badge, you get the coin, you get the jersey to wear, and you need to feel special. Not in a pompous way, but in a way that inspires people. And I remember going through the course when I did, being inspired by, I did for Commando course 486, which was in August. There was a 186 in January, a 286, a 386, January, February, March. Yeah, it was pretty brutal back then. We didn't start with 59, 60 odd souls. And I do not think the attrition rate start to finish was as high, but that pride to inspire those coming behind was very, very important. And it is particularly significant that whilst back then we didn't have, it was a single service course. It was all BDF, whether Coast Guard or the commandos who were up here. But I think now it is significant to see where the course has gone in terms of embracing our comrades, our brothers from across the Caribbean. I know Antigua, and memory a little bit foggy, but I'll just say some of the other countries run commando courses as well. There's one run by the French Armed Forces of the West Indies in Martinique, of which I know several of you here, including Mr. Griffith and Mr. Streets. I hope I'm accusing you wrongfully. I know Jeffrey Ford have done. So they're little hybrids, not of the British model, but several other complementary commando courses which are run throughout the region. So in this regard, bringing the forces of the Caribbean together, I think, is an important point along the 30 miles of this course. And in celebrating that honor, point number 4, that you can stand tall and from all external appearance, show people that you can take from this, where do you go with it in terms of being that model of excellence. Unity, I've talked about teamwork several times. Unity is important, unity of purpose. And when I say unity, some people get, or may get a little bit into the belief that unity is all about everybody thinking the same way. But think about unity to a mission, to the achievement of a mission, in which you may have to pull together, at times, divergent ideas about how to deal with a particular problem set. So you might not necessarily agree. I remember doing on our course the escape and evasion phase. Y'all still do E&E? No? Not so much. I remember doing the escape and evasion phase way back then, which involved you getting captured, you being taken someplace you didn't know, you getting mixed up with people that you may not have been working with, but unity came out as a very valuable requirement when you then had to figure out who was who, how do we find our way first, determine where we are, and ultimately move as we were given instructions to a particular point. And in the team, I think I ended up with, I won't call any names because you probably wouldn't know them, but I ended up with people that I wasn't that familiar with in terms of working with them in the lines, in the barracks or whatever. But to be able to be forged by the circumstances into a team, different ideas, different approaches, but that singularity of purpose. And number 6 is to recommit. Despite parts of the course feeling like recruiting, whether you come from Guyana, the Commonwealth of Dominica, or St. Lucia, or here in Barbados, or Jamaica, none of y'all are recruits. So one of the things you should be taking along that journey is a recommittal to the principles of service wherever you come from. Whether you are a police officer or we say soldier in general terms, but of course we know there are different gradations within being a military person, land, sea, or you work in an administrative capacity. And number 7 is the instructors and about being an instructor. And this is a circle back to where I began talking about 40 years and coming along down. Because in the same way that Mr. Griffith was a student on the course run by Colonel Ford, I don't see, and Mr. Drakes, Major Drake, sorry, you came under the hand of Jeffrey, right? You can see the evolution of things. So one day, not in the 40 years though, maybe 4 or less, I know, and I'm sure Mr. Griffith, etc., has told you, y'all be coming back to instruct. I don't want to put any thoughts in your head, but maybe a 2 2026 or a 1 2027 or something, right? And in that regard, to our colleagues from St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Guyana, Jamaica, the bad news is that Mr. Griffith in particular and several others has a way of finding you over the miles. So when you go back to your service in the Commonwealth of Dominica, and in the next few months or whatever, you get a signal coming down through your headquarters that they want you back, or I guess it's easier for BDF to contact the Barbados Police Service. There's something to look forward to, so you take the baton forward. Some of you probably ain't gonna want to come back. By your show of hands, any? Right? No. Okay. So I want to conclude with a quote from the late General Colin Powell, who is somebody that I never met, but I read his books and took a lot of inspiration as a leader, of which a commando is as well. I want to leave it with you that it will add to the body of notes, memories, ideas you leave from here with. And it's fairly simple. Excellence is not an exception. It is a prevailing attitude. Excellence is not an exception. It is a prevailing attitude. So, as you leave here, while you remain here, wherever you go, carry that, as is so important in being a commando. A lottery is in the mind. That you're not only required to be good at your job in a one-off sense to achieve a one mission, but it is a prevailing attitude, is a prevailing disposition of spirit. And I've successfully put to sleep the Padre. Commandos, distinguished leaders, colleagues all, congratulations. And I look forward to meeting you in the meet and greet afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for those insightful and inspiring remarks about the legacy, origin, and what it means to be a commando. Thank you, sir. And next, we'll have the presentation of certificates and badges. Major Boy, sir. Private Shaquan Anderson. Paid Officer Class 2, Andrel Avila. Ordinary Seaman Trey Best. Able-bodied seaman Romario Brown. Thank you, sir. To present the next set of certificates and badges, Cadet Executive Officer Major Pedro Drakes. Police Constable Rico Clark. Corporal Kieran Emmanuel. Ordinary Seaman Elijah Foster. Constable Alvin Hepburn. Thank you, Mr. Jones. To present next set of badges, I would like to invite Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Ford. Private Byron Jones. Private Aluko Luster. Constable Lyndon Maxime. Private Cordell Norales. Constable Ronaldo Samuel. Thank you, sir. Next, I would like to invite former Chief of Staff Colonel Glenn Granham to present the next set of badges. Sir. Lance Corporal Leon Smith. Police Constable Nicholas Talbert. Recruit Jafari Thomas. Private Second Class Charles Thornhill. Last but by no means least, Private Shaquan Walls. Now I invite Private Anderson S. to deliver the vote of thanks.
Former Chief of Staff of the Barbados Defense Force, Colonel Glenn Granham, Director of Training at the Regional Security System, Lieutenant Commander Brian Roberts, Director of Operations and Plans, Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Ford, Assistant Chief of Staff of Police of the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force, Mr. Aline Maxime, Commanding Officer Barbados Coast Guard, Commanding Officer Barbados Coast Guard, Commander Derek Buffett, Cadet Executive Officer Major Pedro Yates, Captain Reverend Harbert Johnson, Senior Officers, Officer Corps, Commander Corps 1/26, Lieutenant Rico Eiffel, Officers, Regimental Sergeant Major, Warrant Officer Class 1 Shelley-Ann Pollard, Fleet Master Chief Ashwarn Streets, Training Officer, Commander Corps, Warrant Officer Class 1 B.N. Griffith, Warrant Officers, Senior NCOs, Junior NCOs, candidates of the Commander Corps 1/26, Commander Brothers, friends and family, media, good afternoon. Good afternoon. It is both an honor and a privilege to deliver this vote of thanks at the closing ceremony of this demanding and transformative Commando course. Over the past few weeks, we have witnessed more than just training. We have witnessed character being forged. This course has tested every ounce of physical endurance, mental resilience, and determination that these candidates could summon. From the very first day to the final run by that pole in Jenswick, the standard has remained uncompromising. Special recognition must be given to the instructors whose professionalism, discipline, and relentless commitment ensure that every candidate was pushed to meet and often exceeded the required standard. Your guidance, mentorship, and incidents of excellence have shaped not just stronger soldiers, but stronger individuals. To the candidates, today marks the culmination of a journey that few truly understand. The grueling 6-miler tested your pace and your will to keep moving when your body demanded otherwise. The 12-mile load and carry, however, went even further. It tested your spirit, carrying weight over distance under pressure with fatigue setting in. Required not just strength, but grit and determination. These were not just physical events, they were defining moments that separated doubt from discipline. And yet, through it all, you endured, you adapted, you overcame. There were moments on this course when the song of Armbender stretched, echoed all too often moments that push you beyond comfort and into growth. I am certain that as you stand here today, you do so with sheer sentiment. Relief that those words will no longer ring out quite so frequently, but also a quiet appreciation for what they demanded of you and what they helped you become. To the senior leadership present, your continued support and presence here today underscore the importance of this course and the standards it represents. To the Commonwealth of Dominica, we thank you for your continued support to the Commando course. Their willingness to allow us access to the rugged and demanding terrain has been invaluable in shaping the standard and realism of our training. To the media, we thank you for helping to share the story of discipline, resilience, and national service with the wider public. In closing, this course has not simply produced graduates, it has reinforced the qualities of a commando: confidence, courage, cheerfulness and adversity, determination, discipline, physical fitness, and teamwork. The men standing before us have not earned just completion, but respect. On behalf of all gathered here, I extend sincere thanks to everyone who contributed to the success of this Commando course and this evening ceremony. Thank you.